everyone, my name is Chloe, and today I'm here with the final part of my favorites of 2021. So we got it done before we got halfway through the year, so I'm going to count that as okay. If you have not seen any of these videos, I've done one of my favorite romance women's fiction, one of my favorite thrillers, one of my favorite YA, middle grade, and then this one is nonfiction. So those are kind of the 5 genres that I like to read the most of. So let's just get into it. I will link all the other videos down below if you want to see them. But here are my top 10 favorite nonfiction of the year. And I'm shocked to say that no memoirs made it into this, which I don't know. These ones I just feel like had more long-lasting impact on me. So the first one is The Book of Moods by Lauren Martin. So this says how I turn my worst emotions into my best life. So I am definitely guilty of letting, especially anxiety, control my mood, and my feelings control my mood and how I act and how I treat others. And this book just is a really, really relatable, down-to-earth way of saying when you are feeling bad and in these bad moods, here's how to turn it around based on what she did. And so we've got the disclaimer of what are moods and where they come from. The mood, then she talks about the past and the future and different things that you're kind of either worried about or just ways that you let the past or the future impact you. Beauty, if you let beauty stuff impact you at all. Work, friends, family, the body, and unforeseen circumstances. So basically just what to do when you're feeling all your feelings about those different topics. And I thought this was so good. And again, so relatable and just inspiring to be okay, yes, you can have bad stuff happening to you, but you always have a choice of how you react. So that was really a good reminder for me. Next is Giddy Up Eunice, Because Women Need Each Other by Sophie Hudson. So this is a Christian-inspired book about just women and how, this one I know talks a lot about mentorship and how we can look to the generation before us to kind of learn things, and also how we can pass on the wisdom we have gained to the generation underneath us. So, this really inspired me. I have not found an adult mentor woman per se, but it does really motivate me to think about the women I admire and what they did and what it is about them that I admire. And also just I love books like this that remind me that we are being a woman is such a gift, and just the sisterhood of women. Yes, there are some women who choose to be nasty, but there are also a lot of really great things that can come from it. So I really love this book. Next is The Lazy Genius Way by Kendra Adachi. So she's got a podcast as well that's really good. And this says, embrace what matters and ditch what doesn't and get stuff done. So this is all about just how to streamline your life and make it more efficient. So there are things some of the things thankfully I'd already been doing, but for example, meal planning. We do certain things every day of the week. So Friday is Fiesta Friday. We have Mexican every night. So then I know when I'm trying to meal plan, I'm not looking at every recipe in the whole wide world. I'm just thinking, okay, are we going to have burritos, tacos, quesadillas? What Mexican kind of food are we going to have? And, we do different things like that. We do soup Sundays in the winter and fall, and we do salad Sundays on spring and summer, I guess. And so just things like that to just take part of the guesswork out. And she talks about too, have a wardrobe. So on Mondays I wear a black shirt and jeans, or whatever, just things to kind of make your life easier, or do laundry based on where it gets put away, and different things that just can kind of take some of the mental guesswork out of things. So you're spending less time thinking about things and more times getting stuff done. So I really like this and really like the podcast as well. This one surprises me that I just read it for the first time, and I'm not even 100% sure I read it for the first time in 2021, but Anxious for Nothing by Max Lucado. So I have read this 3 times, and this is just about anxiety and what the Bible says about anxiety, and it says finding calm in a chaotic world. And one thing that I really struggle with anxiety is just feeling like I have to control and I can control a lot of things that I really can't. And like relinquishing that control and understanding that like you can't control so many things in your life is really freeing. I mean, it's scary because like you have no control, but it's also really freeing because we have a God that does. You know, we have a God that not only can control it, but he's got your best interests at heart. So it may not look how you want it to, and it may be hard at like going through things, but you really don't have to be anxious. And yeah, this one is, like I said, I've read it 3 times. I own it on audio because it's like a 4-hour audiobook, and it's comforting to me to like listen over and over and over because it does reference scripture and other things that deal with anxiety. So highly recommend. Next is another Christian nonfiction, and that is Having a Mary Heart in a Martha World. So there were 2 sisters, Mary and Martha, and this is by Joanna Weaver. So there were 2 sisters, and Jesus came to visit them. And Mary just sat at the feet of Jesus and just was with him. And Martha was running around doing all the things, getting food prepped, cleaning, blah, 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 blah. And my tendency is to be a Martha. Like, I spend so much time making sure everything is perfect that I miss the moments. And I really struggle to slow down and just be present. And so that's what this is about, is how to slow down and be present and have a merry heart, which is one that just takes comfort in being and resting and knowing in a Martha world that says, like, you are worth what you do. I really like this book, and this is another one I should revisit often. Next is Untamed by Glennon Doyle. So this one is Stop Pleasing, Start Living. This is so good. Just about like being you, being authentic to who you are, and just letting that be great, and just letting yourself shine. And this one is not Christian faith focused at all. There's no mention of faith. But for me as a Christian woman, it was really helpful to be like, just be who God made you to be, not who this world wants you to be, not who you think you should be, or not who people in your family want you to be, whatever. Be you. Just stop trying to people please, because I'm an Enneagram 2 wing 3. If that means anything to you, it is really important to me to like please people and to look like I've got my junk together at least. And this is a great reminder that is not what we're made to do. That's not what we're made to do. And at the end of the day, nobody's going to put on my tombstone like that. There's Chloe. She always looked put together and had a nice clean house. No, they're not going to say that. So this kind of goes with the other one in the things that I struggled with. But just being untamed, being out there, being who you are, accepting who you are, and loving who you are. Love that. Next is The Trying Game by Amy Klein. I don't have a copy of this, but we were trying for our 3rd baby. We started in September, I think. And for us, that means fertility treatments and things like that. And that is a really, really, really hard process. Emotionally, it's hard. Logistically, it's hard. It's isolating, even though so many people go through it. It's just a really hard thing. And so all the times we've gone through it, I have read different books, and I really liked The Trying Game. It was funny, it was lighthearted, and it was relatable. It was probably more geared toward IVF, which is not what we do. So there were parts that were a little less relatable, but if you are new to fertility treatments and stuff, I would say this is definitely one to try. Next is Loved Baby, and this is by Sarah Philpott. It's 31 devotions helping you grieve and cherish your child after pregnancy loss. So again, not to get too heavy, but we were trying, and then we got pregnant and lost the baby over Christmas and New Year's. So this book, I was on bed rest, because I started bleeding and they thought everything was going to be okay, but we did bed rest. And then when we found out things were not okay, I got this on audio and I put my kids in a stroller and I just went for a long, hard walk. And I think I listened to this whole thing on that walk. And it is just so good. So good. And it's all different devotions written from women who have experienced what you're experiencing. So if you have lost a baby, read this. It's good coping. It's good, or just reminders that you're not alone, because it's another process that feels really isolating, even though it's so common. And I would say, depending on who you are or what kind of where you're at in the process, this one may be hard to read because there are a lot of stories of things really horrific happening. So if you're not in a good headspace to read that, maybe don't. But if you are looking for comfort, I think this is a really great place to turn. Now, sort of lightening things up, but Mothers, Daughters, and Body Image, Learning to Love Ourselves as We Are. This is by Hillary L. McBride. And for me, I always envisioned myself as a boy mom. I just totally thought, like my family, it has in multiple generations, there's one mixed gender family. So everybody either has boys or girls. And in my family, my brothers have girls and my sister has boys. So when I was pregnant for the first time, we did not find out the gender, and I just assumed it was going to be a boy. And Wives' Tale said it was going to be a boy. I just thought I was going to be a boy mom. And so then when they said it's a girl, I truthfully had some time of like, okay, what am I going to do with that? And now I've got 2 girls, and I feel like it is a great gift, but also a great responsibility to raise them right in a culture that will tell them their body is wrong. And I personally have done body image work my whole life because it is something I struggle with. And I mean, I'm trusting that God knows better than I do that I can like handle 2 girls, and I can handle giving them the best body image that they can ever have, and knowing that their worth is far beyond anything the eye can see. But this book was really good for like navigating that as a mother. So I really enjoyed that, and I really enjoyed just the reminders of like the responsibility and the gift that is raising daughters. And then the last one is kind of on that same note, is Breaking Free from Body Shame, Dare to Reclaim What God Has Named Good. So this is a Christian focused book about body image. And this one, I don't know if anybody else follows, what is her name? I can't remember her name, but I'ma Eat That, Kylie from I'ma Eat That. So she had a blog. She no longer really does the blog. She has a podcast, all called I'ma Eat That. And her and a few other dietitians started reading this book together. They are like non-diet dietitians. They're health at every size, kind of intuitive eating dietitians. And I started listening to the podcast, and I was like, I have got to get this book. So this is just how would you live differently if you believed your body was good? And just knowing that God made you and made you exactly how you are. He knows every hair on your head. He knows every detail, and He knit you together piece by piece. And God doesn't make mistakes, you guys. He doesn't mess up. So you may look different than you want to. You may look different than culture says you're supposed to, but your body is good. Your body may not function the way you want it to. And this really brought to light a lot of areas for me where I was struggling with anger and resentment because my body does not, fertility issues, a miscarriage. My body has done a lot of things that I would not choose for it to do. And the result is that it doesn't look the way I want it to look. Those are both true for me right now. And so this really brought up a lot of areas where I really needed to chat with God, and a lot of areas where I really needed to challenge my thoughts and think, do I believe that my body is good? And I loved this book. So That is my top 10 nonfiction. Like I said, a lot of memoirs did not make it in. And I think it's just because, like I said, all of these books, I would say, impacted me quite a bit. They met me where I was at in the season that I was at through 2021. It was kind of a year for us. And so these really made an impact on me, and I really love them. And a lot of them, like if you're not going through the things, or if you don't struggle with the things that I do, they may not impact you the same. But I would highly recommend, if you do struggle with any of the things I do, to check them out. So that is it. Let me know what were your favorites. Have you read any of these? And we'll talk to you in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.